bitch, I do it for my... I suicide by my city, that means when I blow up, I'm taking all of you with me. My first name ain't Byron, but I'm the only...
Welcome guys, and this is LSHD Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you guys another video, and this time we're going to be talking about Star Wars The Force Awakens. As I said, I would be bringing you in-depth review of it. It's been a little while since the release, so I figured I could release a spoilered review. So if you haven't seen the film, either put it on mute and watch the gameplay in the background, because the gameplay in the background is a special gameplay. I drop over 50 kills and I go on a 38 gun streak, so it will be worth watching at least the gameplay if you haven't already seen the film and you don't want spoilers. If you have seen the film, you're safe for the rest of it, but just as a forewarning. So yeah, let's get right into it. First of all, this is Star Wars The Force Awakens Episode 7. There are 2 more to be released in the continuum of this story, and within that, of course, it's key to remember there are going to be other stories that happen at the same, not at the same time, but movies that will be coming out, such as Rogue One, which are spin-offs, and there's other ones. There's rumoured to be ones on Han Solo, Boba Fett, and among many other characters as well. But anyway, let's get into the review of The Force Awakens. So, what you know going into the film is that you are going to be... They don't know where Luke is, and the plot really revolves actually around Luke, although you do not get to see much of him during the film, as a lot of it comes down to finding him. Within the film, they do have a lot of comedic moments, which is something I'm absolutely perfectly fine with. In fact, a lot of the time I enjoyed those comedic moments. We'll talk a bit more about that in depth, but we'll just talk about the story now. But yeah, they're trying to search for Luke Skywalker, and they introduce some of the old characters like Chewbacca and Han Solo when they find the Millennium Falcon going in outer space. Now, outer space, well. Anyway, yeah. So within that, of course, you meet new characters, Finn and Rey. Now, Finn is a former stormtrooper, and he was nicknamed Finn after he tried to help Poe escape the First Order. And Rey is a scavenger, and even throughout this film, I can say this, we do not know who her parents are. Now, I have my own theory on who her parents might be. I'll explain that a little bit later on, but that's the essential of it. And they come together when the X-Wing fighter that Poe and Finn escape from crashes, and BB-8, who is the new little droid which you would have seen in the trailer, proceeds to go across country with a map that supposedly helps lead to Luke Skywalker, and he needs to get it to Princess Leia. And eventually, as I said, you meet Han Solo and Chewbacca in outer, when they're out and about going through all the solar systems and all that. But anyway, I'm just watching the gameplay as well. Anyway, as I was saying, the next thing let's just talk about a little bit of the comedic moments, get that out of the way, I suppose. Comedic moments, there's loads of little funny things with Han Solo, where he'll be there like 1, 2, 3 times. Okay, I didn't talk my way out that one. Another funny moment is originally when Finn meets Rey, he tells her he is a resistance fighter instead of the fact he's a former stormtrooper, because otherwise Lord knows what might have happened to him. Rey was very capable of kicking some major ass in that film. But anyway, and there's a funny moment where he pretty much begs BB-8, the droid, to actually tell him where the resistance base is, because he doesn't know, and she's asking him. BB-8 does it, and he gives him a thumbs up, and a lighter comes out of BB-8 with the thumbs up, and it's actually quite a funny moment if you haven't seen it. I've seen the film twice now, so I'm pretty much well aware of what's happening. The main villain in it, Kylo Ren. Oh my goodness, he is an absolute tank. What you learn out here, spoiler alert, he is Han Solo's son, who was trained by Luke, and he turned, hence why Luke then decided he had to just go in exile, hide. He didn't want anything to do with the training of the Jedis. We don't know what Kylo did when he turned, whether he completely went to who is effectively the new Emperor. His name is Snoke. Within the film, he looks like a giant 300 man, but you quickly realise he is a hologram that's being put on the with when they're around Kylo Ren and all that. So expect in the next film to see a midget guy, a small person that's burnt, because he looks a lot like Darth Plagueis from the comic books, but in reality it's not him. It seems to be they're very keen to make out that it's 100% not him. They've been talking about it. J.J. Abrams talked how it definitely wasn't Darth Plagueis. So I think for that we can rule it out, but just keep it in the back of your mind. You wouldn't be surprised if they were just saying that for saying it. But anyway, Kylo Ren is not a complete trained Jedi. He still has training to do. And that is shown at the end of the film because there's a huge fight scene between Finn, Rey, and Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren goes after them after something happens, which I will name in a minute. And they go into that battle, and Finn ends up getting sliced up the back with the saber, which from Kylo Ren. And then Rey proceeds to fight Kylo Ren, and she actually defeats him, and we're not sure she may have chopped off his hand. It's not clear at this point. We'll have to wait till the next film. And but either way, she completely outpowered him, and what you learn throughout the film is she is very strong within the Force. Kylo constantly throughout the movie is trying to get the map out of her, and is trying to torture her once he gets her under his control. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, he could not do it. The mind would not work. He used to put his hand out and go, and it just didn't work. That was a horrible impression, by the way. I know. Sorry if you saw that in the camera. Hopefully you were just listening. But yes, and he just cannot get it out of her. And then she uses the Force on a stormtrooper. She's like, "Let me out, release me." You know, all that sort of. That's not actually the lines, by the way. She's, "You will remove these restraints from me and open the door." It was along those lines, and you will drop your blaster. And originally, the stormtrooper says, "I will tighten those restraints," but in the end, she says it again, and the stormtrooper listens. If you did not know, that stormtrooper was actually played by Daniel Craig, which is an interesting little fact for you. But yeah, anyway, to continue from that, Kylo, before that battle, after he's all beaten up, and Snoke then proceeds to say, we can now complete his training. He is then ordered, some of the, he is picked up by some of the soldiers, and some of the First Order soldiers, and they are stormtroopers, not soldiers, sorry. But yeah, some of the Force, you know what I mean, I just said it, I'm getting it all tongue-tied now. Some of the First Order stormtroopers then proceed to go out and pick him up and bring him and rescue him before the whole planet blows up. You find that out in a recently released, I think it was comic, don't quote me on that as well, which goes on to explain how they escaped before it all blew up, because they did manage to do it, because they were planning on blowing up, I can't remember the name of the planet now, it's my mind's going blank, but they wanted to blow it up, and that planet had Princess Leia on that, and they sent a ship out, and all the best fighters in the galaxy, such as Poe and all that, to blow it up. And so from some help from Han Solo and Chewbacca putting detonators in that, they do manage to, but at the risk. There was a quote that Princess Leia said to Han, which was, "If you see our son, bring him back." You could see definitely within the movie, once Han then did finally see him in that room, he looked sad because he knew it was time to face his son again, and he did. And ultimately there's an emotional scene, and basically Kylo basically says real name is Ben, maybe a homage to Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi, we don't know from Han there, but either way he then proceeds to, you know, say how he's torn apart and help him do the right thing, and Han Solo says yes, of course, anything, and he proceeds to kill Han Solo. So there was a big spoiler for you. Han Solo dies in this movie. It's a very good scene, very interesting, and I thought it was time they had to, you know, kill off some main characters, maybe. So I was in complete agreement with it. Harrison Ford, the actors, wanted that done for a little while anyway. So, but yeah, you proceed to go on, and it actually ends up with Kylo Ren being severely injured. You have Finn, who's severely injured, and you have Rey, who then goes off, since they get the map back to Leia after that successful mission, and they go off and sort of do their own thing with Leia, given the map, and then she goes off with Chewbacca and the Millennium Falcon, and finds Luke Skywalker and hands him back his lightsaber. And the film ends there. It's a very well written Star Wars, probably one of the best written Star Wars. I'd highly recommend it. A lot of comedic moments, as I've said. I've actually just really given you the plot, not much of a review. The only problem I'd have is the fact that we don't know who Rey's father is, and yet somehow she is stronger than Kylo Ren with the Force, and is already a reasonable Jedi at this stage. And by the looks of it, she will be trained by Luke. But I will talk about my own theories on what will happen in another video. But as for a general film, to kind of sum it all up, it is a fantastic film. It is very interesting. I couldn't highly recommend this enough. It has its comedic moments. The action is brilliant. The CGI is absolutely bang on. Now, the character development throughout as well, especially with Kylo Ren, is awesome. He may be my favourite sort of villain out there that's ever been in the Star Wars trilogy. I'm throwing it out there, and I did love Darth Maul. Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, is so hot, by the way. Just a little side note. But all the acting was played really well. Finn was hilarious as well. Like, there was a little moment where he got shocked by BB-8, and he's like, what? Like, it is very funny. It is overall just one of the best films of the year for me. I'm a huge Star Wars nut, as you know, if you're looking at this channel. But I couldn't highly recommend this film enough. My only thing would be they had a woman in there, Captain Phasma, and she was meant to be the Silver Stormtrooper leading the First Order sections. And she didn't seem to be that powerful. I think they missed a boat with that. But sometimes that's going to happen. There's not much you can do on that. But overall, I'd rate this film a 10 out of 10. A 10! A 10! That's how much I love this new Star Wars movie. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. It was a short, more of synopsis and review, I suppose. If you did, please smash that like button, comment and subscribe. And I will see you guys for more Star Wars Battlefront content. Bye!